Angles and parallel lines. When two parallel lines are cut by a transversal, the following pairs of angles are congruent: the corresponding angles, the alternate exteriors, the alternate interiors, and also the consecutive interior angles are supplementary. So what does this all mean? Well, let's look at a real example. And we could see down here we have two parallel lines, M and N. We know that they are parallel because they have a little arrow on them. And then we have a bunch of corresponding angles, alternate exterior angles, alternate interiors, and all this stuff, right? So we have two corresponding angles, so they're congruent. So corresponding angles would be 5 and 1. Angle 5 and angle 1 are congruent. Right? So is 6 and 2, so is 4 and 8, 3 and 7, congruent. And then alternate exteriors are also congruent. So the alternate exteriors are 1 and 2 and 8 and 7, right? So the alternate exteriors would be 1 and 7 congruent and 8 and 2 congruent. Okay. Alternate interiors, well, the interiors are 4 and 3 and 5 and 6, and the alternate interiors would be 4 and 6 congruent, 3 and 5 congruent. And then consecutive interiors are supplementary. Supplementary adds up to 180. So consecutive interiors would be 4 and 5 add up to 180. 3 and 6 add up to 180. And they're supplementary. All right. So that's that. And then what are we supposed to do here? Okay, so angle 2 is 75 degrees. And then we're supposed to find the measure of the remaining angles. So that means angle 1, well, angle 1 and 2 form a linear pair, right? So let's go ahead. Angle 1 and 2 form a linear pair. And so that means angle 1 is going to be 105 degrees, right? Or 180 minus 75. 3 and 2 also form a linear pair. Right. So that means 3 is also going to be 105 degrees. And notice here that we have consecutive angles, right? And also they're vertical. Right? So it makes sense that they're, not consecutive angles, congruent angles. And you'll notice that 1 and 3 are also vertical angles, so follows the vertical angles theorem. Then 4 and 2 are also vertical angles, right? So 4 and 2 are vertical angles. So then that means 4 and 2 are going to have the same measure. So 2 has a measure of 75. So 4 is going to have a measure of 75. And then 5. Well, 5 and 3 are alternate interior angles, right? Alternate interiors. So it's congruent. So that means 4 and 3 are alternate interior angles. Interior angles. So they're congruent. So that means 5 is 105 degrees. Okay. And then we have angle 6. So angle 6 and 2 are corresponding angles. Corresponding angles. And corresponding angles are congruent. So that means 6 and 2 are congruent. So 2 is 75. That means 6 is also 75 degrees. And then 7 and 3 are corresponding angles. And we know corresponding angles when they're traversed by a parallel. When they're parallel and cut by a traversal, they are congruent. So angle 7 and 3 are corresponding angles. And 7 is 105 degrees also. And we have 8 and 6 are verticals. Right? Vertical angles. So then 6 and 8 have the same measure of 75 degrees. Okay. Okay, so anyhow, we're supposed to be going ahead and doing these exercises. I'll show the answers in the next video.